Today's walk is Linton Falls, Ghaistrill Strid and Grasswood from the Visitor Centre in Grassington, a village in the Yorkshire Dales. Before we get started, let's have a look at what we will be walking by today. From the car park, we head down the photogenic Sedber Lane to quickly arrive at Linton Falls, over which there is a wooden bridge which gives a great vantage point upstream and also downstream. Wandering up and down the riverbank gives different views of Linton Falls. Heading upstream, we soon pass by a weir and the restored Linton Falls Hydroelectric plant. We head on alongside the picturesque river wharf, where further upstream the wide wharf narrows to form Ghaistrill Strid. We continue walking alongside the river wharf, then through a wooded area, again still by the water, and then along a short section of quiet lane to reach Grasswood. We follow the gravel path as it works its way up through Grasswood, and then again as it drops down towards Cove Lane. Cove Lane is followed back into the village of Grassington with its eclectic mix of quaint shops, cafes and pubs, some of which may be very familiar to you if you're a fan of the newer series of Old Creatures Great and Small. More on where to eat and drink at the end of the video. Back at the start of the walk, in the Yorkshire Dales National Park Pay and Display Visitor Centre car park, there are toilets should you need them. We walk away from the toilets and National Park Centre, through the car park, to the far corner of it, to the sign for Linton Falls and Riverside Path, 200 metres. Turn right here and follow the sign down towards the gate in the wall. Pass through the gate and turn right to start heading down Sedber Lane. The much photographed flagged Sedber Lane leads us down towards Linton Falls. After heavy rain, the falls can be heard from quite a distance away. There is a weir just to the right, just upstream of the falls. We then reach a signpost just before the wooden bridge, showing burnt salt to the left and grasswood to the right. We'll ignore for now and just explore the falls from the bridge. The noise from the bridge can be quite deafening after heavy rain, and you can almost feel the sheer power of the water gushing underneath. Upstream you can see another weir that we will pass by shortly. The nearer weir once served a textile mill that has long since been demolished. Linton Falls is a natural limestone waterfall. It is believed it was formed millions of years ago by a movement in the Earth's crust. Before we continue with the walk, which is through the gate to the left, for an optional short detour, especially for any photographers, it is worth viewing the falls from a little further downstream. To do this, head through the gap in the wall on the right, and then just follow the riverbank down for about 50 metres. Then, taking care as the rocks are slippy, pick your spot to get your view of the falls. When you have finished viewing the falls, head back up onto the banking and then head back towards the gap in the wall. Pass through the gap in the wall and then directly ahead through the next gate to head along the riverbank that heads north along the river wharf. Walk along the path, on now towards the next weir. We pass by another weir, next to which is the restored hydroelectric plant. It was originally built in 1909 and then abandoned in 1948, after which it fell into ruin. But with support from the Yorkshire Dales National Park Authority and English Heritage, it was restored and reopened in 2012 and can produce up to 500,000 kilowatt-hour of electricity per annum, roughly equivalent to the energy usage of 90 family homes. The plant itself uses 2 Archimedean screws which water flows through, spinning them fast enough to generate energy. To continue, just walk along the riverside path. As you start to approach Grassington Bridge, head right uphill, away from the river, up the wider grassy path. And then turn left along the gravel path. Pass through the wooden gate, and then onto and through the next gate, taking care though as you pass straight out onto the road. Carefully cross over the road and head down the path opposite. Pass through the next gate, following the footpath sign for Wood Lane via low grass wood. Walk down the track, and then as the fence bends around to the right, just keep straight on to head back across to the riverbank. Continue walking upstream alongside the river wharf. If you enjoy these videos, please click the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when we've uploaded any new walks. It's free to subscribe, and your likes and comments really do help promote our channel. Pass through the gate and over the wooden footbridge. The river wharf is 65 miles long, and for much of its length it is the boundary between West Yorkshire and North Yorkshire. The watercourse first becomes known as the River Wharf at the confluence of Greenfield Beck and Outershore Beck at Beckermans, and then flows by or through Kettlewell, Grassington, Bolton Abbey, Ilkley, Otley, Wetherby and Tadcaster, before joining the River Ouse just north of Cawood. Pass through the gap in the wall. And then on through the gap in the next wall. Over to the left here is the end of Ghaistrill Strid, which has been formed by the narrowing of the river wharf to produce this faster flowing section over the rocks. Ghaistrill is believed to be a surname, and Stride was the Old English word for narrow channel. Just before heading onwards over the wall stile, if you head down to the left to the riverside, Ghaistrill Strid is more impressive and faster flowing now. Return now back to the path and then pass over the stone stile built into the wall. Walk on and pass over the next stone stile. Then pass through the wooden gate and head down the steps to head back to the riverbank. This then brings us out to the top end of Ghaistrill Strid. There is actually another more well-known Strid, just called the Strid, which is probably even more dramatic after heavy rain, which is further downstream in the wooded area between Bardon Bridge and Bolton Abbey. Continue on now, just walking alongside the river wharf. The name wharf is believed to be derived from the Old English word weorf, W-E-O-R-F, or the Old Norse heifer, H-V-E-R-F-R, both of which mean winding, so effectively a winding river. So, Wharfdale, through which the river Wharfe flows, is a valley of the winding river. At the footpath sign, just keep along the riverbank, along the side of the river wharf. Being late November, there are not too many birds around today, but there are believed to be over 200 species of bird to be found along the river wharf at various times during the year. Pass through the wooden gate to enter into Lower Grass Wood. continue walking along the riverbank through a lower grasswood before heading away from it up some steps. At a path junction, you can choose either path as they meet up again about 500 metres further on. Today I'll head down to continue along the riverbank. The route of today's Linton Falls, Ghaistrill, Strid and Grasswood walk from Grassington is set out on an Ordnance Survey map along with a GPS download for your phone or GPS device on our Walks for All website, the link for which is down in the description below. Just after the path has pulled in close by the river, it then bends away to the right. Shortly after which there is a path junction. Again, you can take either path, the left one heads up onto the road as well, but here we will take the right to head up towards the gate in the wall. Just before reaching the gate, if you look around to the right, you can see another path coming into us. If you'd have carried straight on earlier, about 500 yards back, this is the path you would have walked in along. Pass through the gate and then turn left along the road. We walk now along the quiet Grasswood Lane for about 500 metres. Just before the road bends around to the right, we cross over and then we follow the footpath Grassington, 2 miles footpath sign, and pass through the wooden gate to enter into Grasswood. Head up along the gravelled path where you soon reach an information board telling you all about Grasswood. From the information board, carry on walking up the hill along the gravel path for about 400 metres. If you look over to the left from the path as you're climbing, you can see in the distance Kilnsea Crag. As the gravelled path bends around to the right, there is another footpath that goes straight on, which you can take if you wanted to explore the woods further. But for today, we'll just ignore that and follow the gravelled path around to the right. If you are new to hiking or just want ideas for what walking gear to wear and take on the walk, check out our kit list recommendations down in the description below. After a steady climb of about 400 metres, the path then begins to level out, after which you come across a footpath sign. If you had gone straight on about 600 metres further back to explore the woods further, this is where you'd rejoin the gravelled path. Continue walking along the gravel path and you soon reach a 4-way signpost. We are going to continue straight on here in the direction of Grassington, but if you wanted for a short diversion you can head up to the right to visit Fort Gregory. Albeit when you arrive there you may be a little underwhelmed by the lack of a fort. We will though just have a quick look up to see what's there. Follow the path through the trees and then on up some steps as it heads up onto Fort Gregory, the site of the Iron Age fort, Fort Gregory, which is also known as Gregory's Fort. The fort was supposed by its Victorian discoverers to be a Brigantian fort established against the Roman invasion in around AD 70. Unless you are an archaeologist or set your expectations quite low before heading up here, you may be disappointed to find out that these stones are the remnants of the fort, or at least that's all I could find. You can wander a little higher and follow the path further up through the trees, where if you do look around and imagine the place without the trees, it would have given a fantastic panoramic view for the fort. The paths up here aren't the easiest to walk on and the steps were a little bit slippy, so if you are a little bit unstable on your feet, maybe give this diversion a miss. We'll head back now, back down to the 4-way signpost that we left earlier. On reaching the 4-way sign, just continue straight on in the direction we were walking in previously, following the Grassington sign along the gravelled path. These woods are a delight to walk through in the spring and summer, when there is a lot more flora in bloom and the air is filled with birdsong. The path now starts to descend. just before we reach the edge of Grasswood and Park Style, around this area here, there is another Iron Age settlement site. Pass through the gate stile in the wall, and if I'd have been here a little bit sooner and been a little bit further on in the walk, I would have got a lot better view of the low flying plane that you can see just below the hills ahead. To continue, we just head across the field to the right of the building. And then pass through the gap in the wall. We then just head down this next field, just keeping just to the left of the wall. Pass through the gate to enter into Cove Lane. Just head now along the walled Cove Lane. As Cove Lane bends sharply around to the right, there's a footpath sign that goes straight on. Just ignore this though, and just continue along the walled Cove Lane. Over to the right, you can look back at Grasswood that we just walked through. Upon meeting the metal gate across the lane, pass through it, and then again, just continue straight on. As the lane meets a road, turn left to head up the road. Then follow the road as it bears around to the right and heads into Grassington. Just walk now along this road. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to click the like button, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you know when any new walks have been uploaded. It's free to subscribe and your likes and any comments do really help promote our channel. We walk by Grassington Methodist Church. We then head on to and pass by the first of many of these galleries, shops, cafes and pubs that there are in the centre of Grassington. Across the road from the gallery is Grassington Town Hall, run by the Parish Council, that holds many events and activities. Turn right now to head down towards the centre. Grassington is the home of the fictional market town of Darrowby, in the remake of All Creatures Great and Small showing on Channel 5, based upon the classic James Herriot books. The first of the new series was filmed to coincide with the 50th anniversary of the publication of the first James Herriot book. As you wander around Grassington, you may recognise many of the shops and buildings used in the show. Filming took place earlier this year for the 4th series. As you can see, as we wander down the street, there are many places to stop off for something to eat and drink, along with potteries, craft shops and galleries. The Forester's Arms that we are passing here on the left serves food and drink, has some accommodation and is dog friendly. It generally has around 4 real ales on the bar. The Devonshire may be better known to you as the Drover's Arms in All Creatures Great and Small. It serves food, has around 5 real ales on the bar and stocks over 50 gins. It's dog friendly and has summer accommodation. The Stripy Badger bookshop and his coffee shop next door are transformed into the grocers and a private house for the TV series. Just before reaching the Folk Museum on the corner of the square, if you turn up to the left, you reach the Black Horse Hotel, which is a 17th century coaching inn. It serves food, drink, has around 5 real ales on the bar, it has accommodation and is also dog friendly. Just past the Black Horse is another cafe, and then on the other side of the road, for something slightly different, is a fish and chip shop. Heading back down into the square, we pass by the Grassington Folk Museum, which houses memorabilia from Wharfdale of yesteryear. Just past that is Grassington House, which is a restaurant and bar with accommodation. It serves food and drink, has a couple of real ales on the bar, has accommodation, and I believe dogs are allowed in the bar area. On the other side of the square is Grassington Post Office and Robert Bunny Menswear, which in the TV series become Wood's General Store and Robert Bunny Menswear, so no change needed for that one. After passing by yet another coffee shop, we continue on to meet the road at the bottom. Depending upon when you visit Grassington, you may arrive to a 1940s weekend, the Christmas markets, or even Dickensian festival. On meeting the road, we turn left to head along back towards the car park. Normally, you would just cross over the zebra crossing and enter the car park through that gate that you can see there, but at the minute it's closed, so we just have to wander on a few yards further and go in through the main entrance. Just pass through the gate to the side of the cattle grid. The circular building here is a bus terminus, as Grassington is served by a daily bus service from Skipton, which continues on to Kilnsea, Kettlewell and Buckden, and I believe there are also buses to Burnsall, Bolton Abbey and Ilkley. Just before ending today's walk, we've put together a short fly-through created using the Ordnance Survey app, the link for which is in the description below, to show you where you've been and give the area a little more perspective. We left the car park and headed down Sedber Lane to reach Linton Falls, where we crossed over onto the wooden footbridge and then had a quick look from downstream before heading back along past the second weir. We then headed along towards Grassington Bridge, where we briefly left the riverbank, crossed over the road, and then dropped back down to continue alongside the river wharf. We passed by Ghaistrill Strid, and then headed on into Lower Grasswood, where at the path junction we took the lower path to head alongside the river and then to join up with the road which we followed along before heading up into Grasswood. We followed the gravel track through the wood, and then at the four-way signpost did the short detour up to Fort Gregory and then just continued on before passing out onto Cove Lane, which took us back into Grassington itself. On reaching Grassington Centre, we turn right past the shops, cafes and pubs before turning left back to the car park. That ends our walk for today.